Toy Spot, we are continuing our looks at the NECA Toys Retro Cloth Hateful 8. Today, we're having a look at General Sandy Smithers, the Confederate. Though most of the movie basically just sits in a chair, we have General Sandy Smithers representing one of the Hateful Eight, come to us from the Hateful Eight movie from Quentin Tarantino. NECA Toys once again has impressed me with retro cloth figures, and I never thought in my wildest days would we ever get retro cloth figures of Hateful Eight, but NECA has delivered. And so far what we've seen, some pretty cool figures I might add as well. Box-wise, it's the exact same box as all the other figures. The underside there we have Hateful Eight, www.necaonline.com. However, if you spin around the back of the package, this is where it will vary. You have the different character down below there. Bruce Dern is Confederate Sandy Smithers. And then you've got the 8 there. It says the 8th film as well from Quentin Tarantino. Spot watched actually on his way to LA. That's where I watched Hateful Eight. It was on the airline. Spot's going to take a break, get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Sandy Smithers, General Sandy Smithers, the Confederate from the Hateful Eight. It's more heading away, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Unlike other members of the Hateful Eight, unfortunately, he doesn't come with any sort of accessories. He doesn't come with any sort of accessories, which is a bit of a shame. I would have hoped that Sandy would have come with something. Now, granted, he does spend most of his time in the movie sitting in a chair, so I would have at least given him a pistol or something, though he doesn't have a holster, but we could give him a pistol or something. Enough of the figures certainly come with accessories that if I wanted to, I could just take one of those pistols and give it to Sandy instead. The figure is quite nice, though. He's wearing his Confederate jacket. General, I should say. General is wearing his Confederate jacket. And they put all these buttons down the sides of the jacket. Some details also on the sleeve. The material feels very different too. Like if you compare it to, well, let's bring in, like, for example, Marcus Warren. The fabrics are very different from one another. This is almost more of a like a burlap or a denser fabric. This is almost softer. I'm trying to think like a blanket. It's got that very, very soft material, and you can see how, I mentioned this before, the retro cloth figures use the same bodies, but you can see how very different they are just by changing out the clothes and, of course, swapping out different heads. The head, let's bring the camera in here. There we go. The head, though, is quite good. I've yet to find a figure in this set that doesn't look like the actor that was portraying the character in the movie, and that looks like Bruce Dern. The wrinkles on the cheek area, the hair is sculpted incredibly, as well as the beard. Paint's good too. His head does appear a little bit large, but I think it's just due to the nature of like the way that I guess his head is a little on the large side, but that doesn't really bother me all that much. He's also got some scuffed up shoes as well. No pegs on the undersides of his feet. I wonder if I could find a chair that's big enough to have him sitting in. I haven't tried this yet, but it does look like you could get him to sit in a chair. It's just a matter of finding a chair that would accommodate him. While we're at it, though, in the way of posability, Sandy Smithers, General Sandy Smithers, has the head rotation via a ball joint in the head. Shoulders hinge out. They rotate forward and back. Now, as I mentioned already, when it comes to material, you got to be a little careful with joints that you don't accidentally put too much stress on the joint and it breaks. Bend at the elbow, rotation in the hand. There's a better look at his hand, by the way, which is covered because he's got these long sleeves of his jacket. Here's a rotation in his waist. Full range of motion in his legs, forward and back, out. I don't even know if I mentioned this in other reviews, but he's got a swivel cut at the top of his thigh, which would then carry over to all the other figures in this set as well. A hinge in the knee, and finally a hinge in the foot. Not my favorite from this series of figures, but I still think it's a great figure. And it really, if you're collecting one of the Hateful Eight, you might as well get all 8. I mean, it is Hateful 8 after all. Although I can see if you have a particular interest in one character over the other, Like, for example, you know, Marcus here. Maybe Marcus you might want to get because you like Samuel Jackson. Or maybe you might want to get John Ruth because you like, you know, the actor. I can't remember his name now. Kurt Russell. Thank you, Kurt Russell. So maybe you might like one over the other, but at the end of the day, Hateful Eight, you'd probably want to pick up all 8 of these. Today's Toy Spot, we were continuing our looks at the Quentin Tarantino Hateful Eight retro cloth figures from the folks over at NECA. Today we're looking at General Sandy Smithers, the Confederate. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have, well, 4 more reviews. 4, as we have a look at the other 4 members of the Hateful Eight. Those videos will be heading your way soon. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.